So, now let's talk a little bit about the 7th part. So, will you be there? I think so. Yes, most likely it will be in the 7th part, because the action of each game in the series takes place in parallel with our time and in order. In the Troika it was the 2012th year, the 4 2014th, in the 5 2018th, and in the 6 2021st. Everything is parallel to our time. Unlike the first part, there the action of the game takes place in 2025. But here's a remaster before the 7th part. I think we should wait, since it's fashionable now to remake old games, especially such iconic ones as the first Far Edge. The main thing is that Ubisoft guessed to completely rework it and make it on a new engine, so as not to repeat the mistake of Rockstar with her trilogy. They have time for this, as much as 3 years, and just so you know, they made the third Far Edge in 3 years. So I think it's completely in their power and we should wait for the remaster. And yes, I'm sure it won't pay off, since the game has a lot of fans who are no longer 12 years old, so the game itself is already turning 18 next year. And I know uncles who are already under 30 years old and for them it was a childhood game. And I'm sure they would be happy to try it with an updated graphene, just like me, and I'm sure many of you. And then in a couple of years or a year they will announce the 7th part to us. You will be shown to us about her, most likely not as the main villain, but as a mentor who has rethought his life for the son of Jason and Zither. Oh, now it's time for the fucking theories. What if the writers of the 7th part of Far Edge decide to take the bad ending of the 3rd part, yes, exactly the one where the Zither killed Jason, but before that he made her an unborn child. No one even thought about him, but what if Zither still carried this child and he was born in the hands of a crayfish? Imagine what kind of spatial reflection the writers of the 7th part have. For example, if a Zither brought up her child, since she twisted adult men and drove them crazy, then what would she beat the head of this child? How will she raise him? All this choice of the best warrior, the choice of Jason and the disappearance of Veza, such a potential Yubiki simply could not ruin. Everything was done only for this child and it is strange, of course, that no one remembered about him at all. But I hope you understand what I'm getting at. This child will be the main character in the 7th part, and I hope that he will be a guy and we will not have the opportunity to choose the gender, as it was in the 6th part, because if we are given to play for a girl in such a story, it will be for Phase 2, if you know what I mean. Therefore, I hope that they will show us an adult guy, but at the same time they will not immediately tell whose son he is and where he is from. And then Ubisoft can definitely choose a bunch of different plot moves and which one of them will be right, we will see in a couple of years. They can make a plot like in the 6th Far Edge, that this son will not like the Zither policy and he will decide to escape from the island. Or maybe he will listen to his mother, so the Zither has the ability to brainwash men, and she will force him to rule the island of Hands. Or maybe he decides to figure out who he is, find out who his father is, who killed him and find his father's killer. He will find out where he is, fly to this island, where he will meet with Vazia, already such an aged Vazia, respectively. The Zither will be the same and in the middle of the game we will find out whose child he is, who is his uncle and what is with his father, what the Zither told him, and maybe we will even succeed run around the old places and see how they have changed over all this time. And I mean now, of course, the islands of Rue. And also find out how the fate of the other characters from the 3rd part turned out. For example, I would really like to know how it is with Dennis. Damn, I just wrote the script with a Ubik. Sorry if I guessed right, but it will be visible only in a couple of years. And there is also a good ending where Jason sailed away from Dennis. But do you know what ruins this ending? It is this Dulcai, which I think was done for this, to show that you are alive and there is a theory that his Zither saved him, but you were killed by Jason in reality, and not in trips like his. And here again a bunch of questions. How then did Jason survive and have her baby? Did the Zither save not only you, but also Jason? And maybe further after this scene we are no longer playing for Jason, but for Veza. Here, eat.
What you say? Oh, that you only meant well.